Welcome back, everybody, to the weekly members podcast. Got some familiar faces here and a familiar chin that we haven't seen in a while. So good to see you, Kyle and Ben, in your home away from home, your car. And
That's right.
Randy, it looks like you're actually coming to us from home, which is a rarity. So appreciate you hopping on today, I think. Got a couple of topics today for you. About some current events. There's actually a few things, Randy, I guess, about the Cowboys. There was actually a recent one that just popped up that you probably haven't even seen yet. Not a major thing, but we can get into that. But I was going to start with post All-Star weekend. We kind of hit on in the NBA pod before this that I am actually looking forward to the second half of the season. NBA has set up some pretty good lineups for primetime games recently. A lot of big time matchups and potential uh, playoff matchups as well. So I'm kind of excited to see how some of these narratives kind of evolve for the second half. Is there? Let's see what we got. Boston and Philly represented. Fortunately, all
And
the Philly
anyone
lamos.
but Philly here.
Well,
So
you would have loved the NBA pod. None of those lamos would join. They had like 17 of them from that freaking family tree, and none of them would jump on. So
Well, I wasn't asked. I
Mhm.
wasn't asked. I feel like I was being banned from the NBA pod. So, nobody asked me to join. Nobody said, "Hey, Philly, you want to join?" No, nobody said anything. But Paul,
So
to
it was
your
a good
point.
podcast.
Oh, shut up, Randy. Shut up. I
We
will
could have made
say,
it a
like,
Celtics podcast.
a lot of the primetime games that I've seen, like the lineup for, they're good, man. It's not like 5 to even 10 years ago where it was like, you got the Lakers dynasty versus the Blazers, or the Lakers dynasty versus the Grizzlies. Like, you don't have that stuff anymore. They're like solid teams. And it's like playoff matchups in February. It's pretty cool to see.
yeah, I was pretty happy about that. Ben, your Celtics were looking pretty tasty recently as well. I
Now
know that they've been working out Jason Tatum. You have any thoughts on what that might hold for the end of the year, if it's smart to do what they may be thinking about doing?
Well, I think we're in the day range at this point. We might be in like the 1 to 2 week range, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be like less than that. There's been a lot of play about March 1st. I think that's when they play the Sixers. There's been some talk about getting that time change shifted from, I think it was 6:30 to 8. So right in prime time. So someone could have tipped their hands. Jason Tatum also is having a 5-part docuseries on the side right now as well. I don't know how I feel about that. It's all but giving away that he is coming back this year. But, I think they're in a great spot. They're number 2 in the East, and he's the boost that they need to push him to another title.
I don't know
I
how
know
I like that. Look,
it's only been a few
honest.
weeks since a
Yeah.
Boston sports team appeared in a championship, and I know we're catching up to
So
the quota.
That's what you're worried about now, just appearing in the championships because you can't
Oh,
win
no.
them? Is that what it's about?
Whoa. Hey, whoa. We're not talking about that. We're getting there, but we're
You
definitely...
brought it up. Nobody else brought it up. You brought it up.
Hey, I was just saying for the record, a Boston sports team making an appearance in an NBA or a sport final, I should say.
Major.
Yeah, everyone was really missing.
You guys heard it here first. If and when Tatum comes back, it's signed, sealed, delivered. Boston's winning it all. They're going to the finals. That's it.
How can you not say
he
that?
Just admitted it. He just said it.
Jaylen Brown has put up an MVP performance, silencing all the haters over the years, me being one of them, that he wasn't a number one, and he's clearly proved that he's a number one this year. Peyton Pritchard, who was a sixth man of the year last year, is playing way better than he did last year. He was cooking the Lakers the other night, if anyone was watching. LeBron didn't have an answer. Austin Reeves didn't have an answer. Whoever they got on their bench didn't have an answer. But, they're number 2 in the East. Everyone thought they were going to be in the play-in tournament or not even a lottery team. But here they are. I think it goes to show how weak the East is. But the year that they're having, and now you just throw in Jason Tatum for 15 to 20 minutes a game. How can you not like them at least coming out of the East, if not winning the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, look, as a Philadelphia fan, it sucks because the only two teams in the East that really matter are the Knicks and Celtics, and I hate both of them. So it's the worst case scenario for me. So I will be rooting for my. You can change my name to anyone from the West. That's what my name's going to be because I will root for a Western Conference team before I ever. It's not like, oh, well, I'm rooting for the Eastern Conference. No, absolutely not. If it's the Knicks or Celtics, I'm rooting for anybody from the West to win that NBA title. I'd even root for Paul's Blazers. Who, by the way,
Wow.
I heard about Juice being a closet Blazers fan. I'm a little pissed off about that. So I think Juice went into hiding. That's why he didn't join the pod tonight.
He said
Just
a
FYI.
he said a whole lot more about the Blazers than he did
Oh, I know.
about the
I
Sixers
know.
during that pod.
I
It
know.
was a very eye-opening experience.
Well, listen,
And
if you drive past his studio, I guarantee you the lights are off because I may have put out a kidnapping on him for being a closet Blazers fan. And, I might have shipped his ass off to Portland.
Uh-oh.
That's for
Juice is
you,
gonna be
Juice.
on
That's for you,
Juice,
buddy.
Juice is gonna be on the milk cartons. You keep that up.
He might. He might.
Imagine that. Juice on milk. There's got to be something
Ah,
there. No?
I see
Come
I
what
on.
you
see
did
what you
there.
did.
Come on.
I see what
Come
you
on.
did there.
Thank
I see
you.
what you
Thank
did.
you. Here we go.
Even Randy thought that was funny. That was pretty
I
good.
did. That
pretty
was really good.
It was
Let's
food related,
go.
so
Just as I pull into park. But is there anything good going on in Philly? I mean, are they even in a playoff spot? I don't pay attention to the
I
process.
think
How's the
they're I
process
think they're
going?
like I think they're like seventh right now or something like that. But as you said, the East is weak, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, the exciting part of the season was the beginning part. I do like VJ Edgecombe and Maxey together. When Embiid's out there, he looks good. But like when they come out and they trade Jarrett McCain because they say they have a plethora of guards, and then they sign like guys from overseas because they don't have guards. It made zero sense. Daryl Morey came out and said that he sold McCain on a high, like he got the highest value he possibly could out of McCain. McCain goes to the Thunder and is averaging like 20 points a game. Obviously, SGA is injured, right? So like he's getting more playing time than he probably will, but still, like that's what he's capable of doing. But yet we have to sign people from Europe because we don't have guards. But yet we traded him because he wasn't going to get the minutes here. It makes zero sense. You can tell that Josh Harris is the one pulling the strings for the Sixers. They traded McCain so they could stay under a luxury tax, so they didn't have to pay extra money. That's why
but
they
you
did
didn't
it.
have to. I mean, that was the equivalent of sending him to the Dodgers, though.
I know. I know. You don't think somebody greased Josh Harris's pockets a little bit? I guarantee it. You of all people should know Josh Harris is a slime ball. He's an absolute slime ball of an owner, right? So like he doesn't care about the team. He
Yeah.
doesn't care about winning. He cares about money. It's a business to him. That's all it is. He doesn't care about a winner. So, like when you have Joel Embiid coming out at the trade deadline saying, I hope that they actually do something this year. We have a good young team. They took that as, we'll trade part of our good young team. Why don't we do that? Makes zero sense. Zero sense. So, everything that I was hoping for this season with having like a competitive, fun team to watch. Yeah, they're still competitive and fun. I mean, it's fun to see Maxey going out there. I think Maxey has solidified himself as a top 20 talent in the NBA right now. And then on
I,
some nights he's top 10. Some nights he's top 10. I'm
absolutely.
not saying every night, but some nights he's top 10, and I think he solidified himself as a all NBA guy this year, and it's good. He's on the cusp of superstar status. You know what I mean? Like he's every night he can put up 30 points, and it looks like it's effortless for him.
He was
So
throwing it
I
But
down in the All-Star game too.
yeah, yep, yep. So that's exciting to watch. But other than that,
so
we don't have much going on.
what about the rumor that I put out, solely me put out, that the Sixers spiked PG's Gatorade with a little extra juice and got him suspended for 25 games or whatever, so he wouldn't hurt himself before the playoffs. So he's actually available.
I
Any
mean,
truth to that rumor I created?
sure. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Josh Harris had a hand in that too, because, they could have traded PG and got more for him than what they got for McCain. And it would have helped their salary cap situation a lot more. But of course, they can't trade him if he's not eligible to play because they had to suspend him for, I don't know what medication was it? It was anti-anxiety or antidepressants or something like that. Like that's what
I,
they
g-
said.
yeah, I mean, it was the same response everybody did. I took a supplement or something, and I didn't know
Yeah,
something was in it. The same thing,
yeah.
which
I
I don't
look,
really.
I wouldn't be surprised if Daryl Morey was the one that spiked his drink too.
I
So
mean, it's possible that they were just sick and tired of the locker room smelling like nail polish, like it does in Chicago for the Bears.
maybe.
TikToks weren't getting the views. You had to trade them somewhere that they would.
Well, he's a hell of a talent, and it's going to come back to bite them. I guarantee you, McCain makes a few All-Star games in his career, and I guarantee you, he has a solid career, and he could have had a good 4 to 5 years at least before he went in free agency as a Sixer. But he's going to come back, and he's gonna hammer the Sixers every time he plays them. He's going to take that personal because he
Did you?
was close with these guys. He was close with Maxey. He was close with Embiid. Like he was close with that guard group too. So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to
I
see,
know he
man.
was. I know he was close. The reason I know that is because White Chocolate called out that how comfortable he would have felt if there was a guy making TikToks in the showers with everybody. So,
Oh, I
uh,
saw that. That was awesome. I love
yeah,
white chocolate.
but then McCain came back at him and pretty much just said, like, "Old head, stay on the couch. This is not your time anymore." It was
Yeah,
kind of funny. Both ways were kind of
classic
funny.
response. Yeah,
Yeah, it was great response. I mean, both of them were great. I thought.
I'm with Jason
Uh,
Williams on this. Get that crap out of the locker room.
yeah,
Like,
I agree.
just
I
a
I
agree.
mean,
distraction.
he's
Unwanted
he's definitely
distraction.
not the only player in the NBA doing that.
I know.
Not at
That's
all.
that's what's terrible. It's
Yeah.
becoming more of a thing. Is what's the problem?
Yeah,
Like
but
Yep.
he's
you're
doing it.
grown men
He's
getting paid
doing it in
millions of
Philly,
dollars to play basketball for like 8 months of the year, not make TikToks every day. Like, what are we talking about? Let your
and he's
agent deal with that crap.
doing it in Philadelphia.
Not
Was
anymore. Not
was.
anymore. Maybe that's why they traded him. They couldn't handle it. They shipped him out. We're classy. We're a classy city, right, Randy? We don't put up with that shit.
Well,
Oh, extremely.
you definitely Randy's gonna love this. You definitely put the ass in classy, that's for sure.
Part of that,
I've
anyway. Yeah.
I have not heard that one before. That's brand new information for me. Never heard that
I just
insult.
created it, just like that rumor about Paul George. I am just full of stupid
Is he?
trivia.
Could he come back before the playoffs, or is he due
Yeah,
back
Paul George?
the?
Yeah.
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 It was only 25 games.
Yeah. He should be back by end of March at the latest.
All right, a couple weeks to get ramped up.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
mean,
Or
nice
not
late
hurt
season
himself.
boost.
Or
Yeah, I
just not
mean,
hurt himself.
he's so washed right now. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
He's on to podcast PG. No more
Yeah.
PG
Pretty much.
13.
Yep. Yep. But look, I mean, if Embiid plays in the playoffs, they can be competitive. I don't see them, going past the second round, obviously, because we as Sixers fans know that they can't. But I think that they could be competitive and take a couple games here and there, depending on who they match up against. I mean, we'll
What
see
is
what
his
happens.
what does his playing schedule look like? Still no back to backs. Like how much does he play? That's the real question.
Who, Embiid?
Yeah, Embiid.
They've done good with him this year. Yeah, he doesn't play back to backs, but they've done pretty good with him this year of keeping him relatively healthy. And like the games, he went on a stretch there where he was averaging like 28 points a game in like 24 minutes or something like that. It was some absurd
Yeah,
type thing in like a 9 game stretch. It was
yeah,
it was pretty good.
it,
It was
it's
pretty good.
crazy. It's crazy. You think when you play, you actually win most of the games.
Yeah,
What a concept, huh?
right,
He's like
right.
he's the Darren Peterson of NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, great segue, Paul. Great segue. I've been
yeah.
reading up on this kid. I need to hear college basketball fans' perspective on this guy. Like this
So
guy, I just want to just punch in the face
so
so bad.
there's a couple of perspectives, most of them not positive. You've got
Yeah.
a kid who is overall in the most incredible freshman class in recent history. He's the number one and pretty much the clear number one, to be honest, even still with all this. And he
It's
removes
ridiculous.
himself for injuries. He has told the coach 5 minutes before a game starts that he doesn't feel well, he feels sick, and he's just not going to freaking play. He will, just like Embiid, and I'm not knocking Embiid, but I mean, this is like what happens. Like, when he's done, he'll just walk off the court. He will sub himself out, a la Cam Ward, or no, who was it? No, it's not Cam Ward. Who was it? Anthony Richardson. And
Anthony
just be like,
Richardson.
nope,
Yeah.
I can't really do it anymore right now.
Yeah.
So, he's been sick a few times. He's had a couple of nagging injuries, but it's the cramps. Cramps is the big one that I hear. There are some people that say get off him. It's just if he's hurt, he's hurt. And, no one knows what's in the locker room or what his parents are in, how much his parents are involved, and kind of his camp is kind of running some of the story. But there's also this one rumor that I heard today, which I thought was very interesting. He didn't
Wait,
get as
now did
much.
you make this rumor up? Did you
This one
make
I
this
did not
rumor up?
make up. This one
Okay.
I did not
All right.
make
Just
up,
needed
but
to
it may
clarify.
sound
Just needed to clarify.
this one sounds made up. But it also sounds real. Because I mean, it was real. He didn't get as much money as he thought he was going to get, or that he deserved, and so he's giving them less than what. He's thinking that he's giving them what he's getting paid for. That I heard today for the first time. There's no way that anybody would know that that's the case. So, based on everything here,
Oh, man.
they're a really good team with him, and he scores almost a minute, a point per minute average is ridiculous. So, what are we thinking about this, Randy? I think
So,
even though you may not follow him, I think you can
Well,
kind of
that's
weigh
what
in
I
on
was
the
just gonna. I
scenario.
was just. I was just gonna
I'd
ask.
like to hear what you have to say about that as somebody who's probably an outsider to that conversation.
Well, I was just gonna ask. Like, if I obviously not a big basketball watcher fan, but I equate it to football. If you have a player that's doing that, that is so demoralizing. So, like, clear number one, it's hard because I think basketball is a bit different than football. In football, that's definitely enough to get you looked over, possibly for rounds, because there's raw talent everywhere. A clear number one, it means 76ers. Do you want that in your locker room? Is it worth it? Does the benefit outweigh the good? To me,
All
that's
right, first
tough.
of
I
all,
mean,
the Philadelphia reference, that was a bad reference. Do you understand the number one picks that they took during the process? Bad example. Pick any other
okay.
major city.
All right. Let's say,
Sorry,
I
Carl.
don't know. I mean,
Markel Fultz. Markel
I,
Fultz.
I hate picking a crappy team because they'll obviously want to take a good talent, but I'm thinking like a mid-run, nothing crazy. The Bucks. I don't know if the Bucks are in the middle this year, but are they really going to risk the continuity of what they have to put this kid on it if he's really doing all of that to step back and forth? He might be great, but dude, if you're his teammate, wouldn't you be a little bit irritated? If not a little bit, a lot? Like that's what destroys continuity on a team in any sport. And so to me, you're desperate. I don't know, pick your bottom of the run team this year. It's worth a gamble. If you got a half decent team with continuity, why would you do it? And if you're good, you're not going to be picking it high anyway. If you're good, though, I mean, think about him going to the Celtics and messing with that continuity. Sure, when he goes out there, he can score, but you got a bunch of good ballers out there. Why in the world would you want somebody who's going to piss off the entire team and then be a diva about it? The owner's got to baby him, and everybody sees that.
Yeah. What a great
Hmm?
what a great example to set for the future of sports is treating this privilege, this chance you get to play at this top university, but you're going to treat it like a job and like literally go to the website and print out like the job description of like what you can and can't do. Like, I mean, I like to think he won't do it at the NBA because what's beyond the NBA? Like, I mean, I guess I can kind of understand future earnings, but like you're still making a couple mil in college. Like, just go to the NBA. Like you said he's a freshman, so he's going to be one and done. So I mean, yeah, I
So
think it's a terrible example.
Here's my take on it, right? So I've said this since last year. The NIL has ruined college sport.
I
And
agree with that.
it's all
Agreed.
sports. It's football, baseball, basketball, hell, even women's sports. It's hampered that to a certain degree, right? Now, majority of the NIL contracts that happen within the sports in the athletic departments of universities, they kind of funnel that to the men's sports, which is kind of unfair, but it is what it is. Um, Having said that, they need to start treating these NIL deals like contracts. They need to start treating it like NFL, NBA, like professional contracts and make them incentive based. So you get X amount of money based on the minutes you play. You get X amount of money based on this. You score this many points, you get a bonus of this. That's how they need to do it. And none of that crap will happen like what's happening with the dude from Kansas. He won't be able to take games off because then it'll hurt his paycheck, right? It'll hurt his wallet. That's what they need to start doing. And that's the problem with what college sports did. They put the cart before the horse and they were like, well, in order to do this, we need to have a judge rule that NIL is a good thing. The judge ruled that NIL was good, so we just started paying players without having any idea how to actually do it and have it make sense. So until they have incentive based contracts in some capacity for NIL athletes in college, all this stuff is going to happen. Look, we probably all have called out of work before and said that we had a stomach bug. Is anybody going to ask for proof? Nobody asked for proof of the stomach bug. But if you say you have the flu, they're going to say, well, I need a doctor's note. So we all know that shortcut. So these athletes know the shortcut. I got cramps or my leg hurts. Well, I can't physically tell if your leg hurts. I can only go by what you're telling me, right? So if this guy's telling him that his hamstring hurts, well, then I can't play you. I can't risk it. That's the problem. I don't think that stuff's going to happen when they get to the pros, like Ben said, because it's a little different in the pros because they will fine you, right? Those incentives, those contracts are built that way where they will fine you if you fake an injury or if they will fine you if you're not playing enough. They can do that. So it's just that's my take on it, and I don't think he's going to. Kentucky has the same type of thing going on. This guy Jaden Quaintance, who was the transfer from Arizona State, was supposed to be great for them this year. Had a swollen knee. He's coming back from ACL injury. He played in 4 games this year. 4 games. He was dominant in 2 of them, and then he was like, "Nah, I'm good." He's making like $3 million as an NIL deal. He's going to be a lottery pick in the NBA. And since Kentucky's having kind of like a down year, they're 17-10 right now, soon to be 18-10 because they're getting ready to win. They're not going to win anything this year, so he's probably just mailing it in and going, I'm getting ready for the NBA draft. You're going to have that more and more if they don't have these incentive-based things in these NIL deals. It's ridiculous.
Well, you're kind of already seeing it in the NBA with the awards. I mean, I don't know how much college awards matter for basketball players, but at the NBA MVP, you got to play at least 65 games. And I think it was Steph Curry that just became ineligible, or he's going to be. I don't know if it was him or not, but like more and more of these players
Jokic is about to be.
Jokic
Jokic is about to be eliminated.
SGA will be eliminated because he missed a month.
Yeah. So now you're just like, are they going to change their rules at some point? Like if enough guys don't play 65 games, like, I mean, I think not to be a Celtics homer, I think Jaylen Brown has had an MVP type season, but would I name him the MVP? No, I would definitely pick those other guys that we just mentioned, just because I think they're being a little bit better, but like you're going to run into the same stipulation in college
too. It's very likely
too.
that he's going to be the number 1 eligible person for MVP this year.
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If a guy gets obviously hurt in a game and misses, I mean, does that count? Like if let's say he breaks a leg and misses half the season, does that count? I really don't know. I don't know the rules on that.
Oh, he's going to get paid. He's just not going to get the accolades at the end. I mean, you still get paid.
Gotcha.
You just can't win MVP or be named to All NBA.
Gotcha.
Which will affect future contracts and future earnings.
There are like the super max and the whatever the max contracts. It can't affect that. Things like that. But your actual pay that's already in the contract, no, I mean
Okay.
It's not that big of a deal. I think if they cared that much, they would fight through more of the stuff. They wouldn't do the load
Well,
management stuff. But
I was just like an interesting way to deal with it is if you're not playing half the season, you don't play in the playoffs. I think that would be a really interesting way to do it. Make it actually matter. I don't know. Just a thought. Like again, it sucks for a guy that breaks his leg or something, but even in football, it's like it'd be nice to see. Again, it doesn't happen like that in football. So besides Anthony Richardson, but like again, if you're talking about guys that are actually opting out of playing, it seems to be the way the league could deal with that is say, fine, if you're not going to play most of the year, then you're not going to play the playoffs when your team gets there either.
Well, football kind of deals with this at the end of their college football season. All the guys that are getting
Yep.
ready for the draft, they're just
Sure.
like, nah, I'm good. Like, I think it just
I don't even
happened
play
this
in the bowl
year.
game.
Yeah, don't play in the bowl game. Don't play in the championship playoffs. Who was it? It was someone this year or last year. There was a big story about
Cam
them just
Ward.
like holding out.
Cam
Yeah,
Ward, like he took himself out halfway through their bowl game or
See,
whatever it was
I mean,
last year.
To your point, Kyle, I mean, if you're not playing a whole game, you shouldn't get the NIL. Like, I don't know. That seems the whole season. It's ridiculous. Like, we put the NIL in to reward the players for their play, but it's like a slap in the face from now that they got it because it's like, well, dude, we're not going to risk getting hurt. I don't know. I feel like it's so dumb. There needs to be, to your point, some kind of lock-in that actually matters. If you're getting an NIL contract, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be able to opt out of anything.
Well, the NIL went from 0 to 2,000 in like a couple months. NIL was built to give college athletes a more comfortable feel during their time in college. They're just it's supposed to give them money to feel comfortable. That's all it is. Now they drive Lambos, and I don't know if anybody saw this, but the receiver from the freshman receiver from University of Miami, he got for next year he's got $1.5 million, and that's every year. He gets an extra $500,000 for every year after that he stays on top of the regular. He gets a suite anytime he wants for any Miami Dolphins games. And he has a $100 million yacht at his disposal of the billionaire booster who used to be the head of their collective. This guy's last name is Ruiz. And I saw a picture of the yacht. It's the size of my street.
Why would you even want to go pro? Like, why would you just not stay in college forever like some of these guys are doing? Like with that.
That's what you need to do to create loyalty. And I'm using quotes, loyalty, right? So that freshman receiver doesn't hit the transfer portal and go to another school. That's the type of stuff. But those are incentive based, and it's astronomical. It's dumb, but those are the incentive based NIL deals, right? And it's absolutely absurd at this point. And let me ask you this. And I throw this out there to a lot of people and I get the same answer. So I'm curious to get you guys' answer on this. Since NIL came in, what was it, 3 years ago, where it really started taking off? Have you heard of any student athlete get ruled ineligible due to grades?
No.
Never.
Even in Alabama, they will always find a way.
Exactly, because grades don't matter anymore.
Dumber to bag of hammers and go to Alabama.
They're not student athletes anymore. They're just athletes, right? So we lost the whole transparency with student athletes. When Carson Beck is a 7th-year senior on Miami and he graduated 3 years ago from Georgia, like, what are we doing at this point? Like, this is the guy's full-time job, being a quarterback for the University of Miami. Like, he graduated college 3 years ago. Like, that's what we're talking about here in some of these capacities. Now, you're not going to have that in college basketball because those guys are one and done. They want to go to the NBA to get their guaranteed contracts. But these guys in college football, why wouldn't you stay 6 years in
the
college
eligibility
football?
in the NFL, you got to stay 3 years before you can go anyways. So that helps that. So, I mean, I wish the NBA didn't let in these kids. I mean, you don't have as many these days that are really making a mistake by going early. Used to back in the days, there are some people that were making some dumb decisions. But I mean, you'd see you would have some competitive basketball teams out there if they couldn't go until after 3 years. I would love to see that. I mean, the NBA's got enough freaking players, especially with
Yeah.
the influx of international players over the last like 10, 15, 20 years. I
Yep.
mean, I would love to see it be like a 3-year thing like that. That would be amazing.
That would bring back college basketball like it's never been before since the good
I
old
mean,
days.
the numbers will still be there from the NIL, but I think that's a way to counteract that. Would at least for like, we don't care about the money because we're not seeing a penny of it. We just want to see good basketball. So put more stars out there. So make them stay longer. I mean, that's what, and they should. I mean, if you're going to be paid millions of dollars, we want some longevity there. But like
Yep,
you
That's
said, like
fair.
how the
That's fair.
NIL,
Yep.
like how the NIL creates loyalty. Same thing happens with coaches. Like how many, like LSU has paid out $100 million to coaches in the last like 10 years just to tell them to go away because they just gave these exorbitant contracts. They did the same thing that both the Mets and the Phillies just did over the winter, got overzealous and overpaid for things they shouldn't. And eventually, in a couple of years, they're going to be like, holy crap, why are we paying $40 million a year for this?
Mm-hmm.
And then, there's buyouts and, it comes due. So the NIL has effect on coaches and stuff as well. These contracts out there are just astronomical, and
Yep.
I've never seen more buyouts and schools being so willing to buy out a coach just to restart with somebody else that they may do the same thing with.
Yep. Yeah. No, I don't disagree. And the contracts for coaches when they get hired are just ridiculous. Like college coaches are like the average college coach is getting 3 to 5 million now. That used to be like I remember back in like the early 2000s, like 2010 era, when like Pete Carroll was still in the USC and Saban and all that. Like the $7 to $8 million range was like those guys are the top guys. Now that's like you're low man on the totem pole. If you're not making 15 to 20 million as a college coach, you suck. You know,
So
crazy.
Kurt Signetti, the one that came from JMU just two years ago, was at JMU. He now makes over $13 million a year. 13.
It's crazy.
That used to be an entire program, staff, all the kids under the table, like wouldn't even be $13 million.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. It's crazy.
And that's
It's
it.
absolutely crazy.
And that's at Indiana. Like, where are they getting football money?
Right.
Yeah, and sometimes these coaches don't have any prior experience at all. I would love if there was like a coaching pay scale of some sort, like JJ Redick a couple years ago. I mean, one of the best college basketball players ever, serviceable role player in the NBA, definitely knows basketball and whatnot, but can he coach? I mean, he's proven that now, but going into that, like, how can you hire someone that's never like even done it at like a semi-professional level? Coaching, not playing. Coaching and playing are
Oh,
very, very different.
Yeah.
dude, they celebrated here in Philly when it was Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick got college coaching jobs at Norfolk State and at Delaware State. They got head coaching football jobs. Neither one of them have coached anything. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
very good professional football players. Kind of
Yeah.
sketchy character off the field. It is what it is, right? But like
Right.
they got paid to be head coaches. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've never
I don't know
coached
if
anything.
I don't know if I would ever trust Deshaun Jackson as a head coach. Definitely like a position coach for sure, but I don't know. I just believe it or not, I'd respect Vic as a head coach before I would respect Deshaun Jackson because like quarterback, like at least you like know the
Yeah.
game. But I mean, the way Deshaun Jackson played and like just who he was as a person, like knowing that going in, I would just have like a tough time having respect for
Yeah.
someone like that that's never done it.
I got you. I mean, Vic had that dog in him. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, he
Ooh,
does. Yeah, I
ooh,
I was
mean,
trying
too
to
much.
avoid that.
Too
who
much.
else has got
Too much.
who else has got the guts to? All right.
Hey,
And
all
there
credit
it
to
is.
Vic.
There's me saying one thing and Paul taking it way over the
Hey,
line with the next.
hey, here's
Hey,
a fact.
credit.
This is not a rumor, but it's going to sound like a rumor, but it's a fact. So I was on our high school basketball team. We weren't very good. You can't no cuts, and there were still only like 8 of us, and I never played. So there you go. one of the kids on our team actually got arrested and did time with Michael Vick. Did like 14 months or something.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That's really cool.
Was
that was
the
the coolest thing
highlight of your
this
high
kid ever
school
did. Like
basketball
it
career?
was terrible. This kid is like was like the biggest loser. Like he just a total loser.
All right, I gotta ask the burning question now. What are you better at, curling or basketball?
I'm going to say curling without actually competing professionally.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. So I mean, if I slip, I fall on my face and break a tooth on the thing. It's not. I mean, unless you want to compare that to being able to spin the ball on my finger, so it's, you get enough time at the bench,
That's fair.
But let's talk about other things that suck. Not just me at sports. Let's talk about other things that suck. Like
Canadian hockey teams.
I do want to transition a little bit to football.
What up, everybody? The Beard is here. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, the law offices of William P. Harrington. Credit card litigation, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, estate planning, estate administration, guardianships, they do it all. As a member, listener, follower, supporter of our network, they are offering you a 15% discount on these services. So if you are in the Pennsylvania or New Jersey area, schedule your free consultation today.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. Just a few quick reminders for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And check out our fellow podcaster, Jim Montgomery, with This Day in Philly Sports History. Thank you.
So if we want to start with things that suck, Key and Randy, I don't know where he is on the little thing, so wherever you are. So we got the combine that just started, and we got two rumors. We got rumors that I think we all agree that tagging Pickens was maybe not the greatest idea. It's going to piss him off. You're going to piss away $28 million, and there's no chance you're going to get him the following year. But it sounds like Jerry said they're probably going to do that. And it sounds like Brandon Aubrey, breaking news, is about to be named the highest paid kicker in NFL history, which is not unwarranted, but literally who cares?
Yeah, we have a habit of making the highest paid players. That's for sure. I didn't hear about that one. That again, I like Aubrey, but towards the end of the year, he was starting to fall off. I don't know. I mean, I am under the opinion that a good kicker is valuable. You look at the Giants and Carolina this year that lost several games due to kicks. It's obviously you don't want to have a bad kicker, but your average run of the mill 40 to 50-yard field goal kickers are a dime a dozen. And Aubrey missed quite a few in that range towards the end of the year. But whatever, everybody's going to remember his phenomenal start to the year where he was kicking 65 ridiculous kicks. It is
Aubrey's
what it
the GOAT.
is.
And that was kind of breaking news on ESPN, not breaking, but it was like one of the recent headlines from just in the last hour. I just saw that. And I was like, huh. Let's talk about it.
As far as George Pickens goes, I heard one of the big sports guys today talking about the most overrated player on any given football team. And it's interesting. I never thought of it this way, but he said it's hands down the wide receiver. He said, you can have great wide receivers. New England had Randy Moss and Wes Welker. They left Tom Brady. What happened to him? Wes Welker had a decent career, but Randy Moss completely fell off. Chad Ochocinco, Terrell Owens. A good quarterback is so much more important than a good wide receiver. Quarterback. And for us to sit there and have two star wide receivers while we're paying a star quarterback already, it's just completely asinine to me.
Well, I don't want to twist your words, but let's say that you're paying your quarterback as a star quarterback, because he's not a star quarterback. You said he's a star quarterback. That's not true.
I do think he is a star. First of all, he wears a star. Second of all, it's
only one star, and that's his rating.
I would also say that he is probably one of the. I know
He
everybody likes to
wears a
rip on
star.
Dak, and I'm not going to put Dak
You
up
hear this,
there with
Ben?
the. I'm not going to put that
I
up there
heard
with
it.
the top
Just like
the
just like
top
every other
quarterbacks in the
player on
league.
the team.
But I will
Episode
say,
title.
I
Episode
will
title.
say, in general, I do feel like he is underappreciated in the NFL for the quality of player he is. I don't think he's worth his money. I will say that. But when you look at his seasons, every year he's played, that offense is a top 3 offense in the league. Doesn't matter who the receivers are or anything. Without him, they're out of the top 20. He has taken that team with a horrible defense year after year to make them at least competitive or in the playoffs every time he's played. I do think that Dak is a great quarterback of his time right now. Not the greats. I don't put him up there with Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes or any of those guys, but I do think when you compete against, I'm sorry, guys like Drake May and things like that, I think Dak is a better all-out quarterback passer, whatever you want to call it, a better competitor, honestly. Again, if that team could ever get a defense, I think it would be a great team. Jerry's obviously going all in this year because you're right. Pickens ain't coming back next year. We've still got Dak on another 2-year massive contract that hopefully we can restructure. Obviously, signing Aubrey, you're like highest paid kicker. You're absolutely all in this year. But if they don't fix their defense, it's not going to matter. We watched it this year. Who was in the Super Bowl? Defense. 2 good defenses. And again, last year, the Eagles, I'm sorry. I know everybody wants to give Hurts all the credit. That defense last year was unbelievable. And I don't know. You're asking about Aubrey and Pickens. I think that Dallas is quickly putting them out of contention for the future after next year. I don't know what next year is going to bring, but if they can't fix their defense, next year's screwed. And if next year's screwed, they paid so much money to so many players. I can't imagine what it's going to look like.
All right. Well, here, let me. We've got the combine kicking off today, or at least the start of the combine. I didn't see anybody doing anything. It just seemed like just the setup for the rest of the week. But it looks like the Cowboys. Some of the deals you made that Jerry made we're going to see what you get out of it, because now you've got the 12th and the 20th pick this year. So, is there anything that you're looking for?
There
in
is
the combine? Is there anything you're looking to see?
So, first of all, we don't have a second round draft pick this year. Dallas needs a lot of young, cheap talent, to be quite honest with you. The first thing I would do is get rid of one of your you're not getting the top 3 or 4 players that you want to get. I don't even remember who they are. I was just reading through them. But trade one of those for a second, third round pick, or 2 seconds and a third round pick. Get rid of one of those things. Go back to having 1 first round draft. We need 3 to 4 more picks of young talent that could potentially be starters this year to really get, and cheap talent to really make this happen. I was watching a graph of what happens when you draft number 1 overall, and how much the perceived value of that draft pick is versus the 1 year later value of that draft pick. And it is incredible, the drop off after you get out of the first 2 or 3 players, how quickly that curve drops to where the value doesn't match the draft position. And, there's very few predictable players in the NFL that you can say it's worth spending a number 1 draft pick. I would say Dallas, I think their number 1 draft pick last year, Booker, the offensive lineman, was a great pick. That was a lock, no-brainer. But that is a very rarity, especially at the skilled positions. You get a few receivers a year, maybe 1 quarterback that's probably or could be a running back or 2, and maybe a defensive player or 2. Outside of that, it's a crapshoot. The guy who's pulled in the 6th round could be just as good as the guys pulled at the end of the 1st round. So, my opinion, that's what we should be doing with our draft picks.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I'm still stuck on you when you were talking about Randy Moss and you said that after Brady he fell off. Can we just acknowledge that he was a borderline Hall of Famer before he got to Brady, though? Can we at least all agree to that? Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't want
Oh,
to.
yeah.
For all the Randy Moss lovers out there, I didn't want to diminish Randy Moss's career and make it seem
I,
like
Thank you,
Brady
Kyle.
was the only reason he was
hey,
successful. So I
I
just wanted to
love
make sure we
Respect,
were all
Kyle.
agreed.
Respect, Kyle. It's
I
fine.
love Randy Moss. Honestly, I was a half Patriot fanboy in their heyday. I love Randy Moss, Wes Welker. I still to this day
Patriots and the
love.
Cowboys, huh? All right, now
Well,
we know.
I
Now we know a lot
love.
about you, Randy. Now we
Hey,
know a lot about you.
I didn't get to watch my team win any Super Bowls, so it was pretty fun cheering for them. I love
And you
Tom
probably
Brady.
never will, buddy. You probably never
It's
will. But,
coming.
Yeah.
you know,
32 years and counting.
I love
dust off the
watching.
VCR, buddy. You can watch them all you want. I know Steve got
Hey,
the VCR hooked up.
you're going to be saying the same thing here in a couple of years, bud. It's all history now.
Nah.
The only team celebrating currently is Seattle. No,
Correct.
all I'm saying is you look at your Terrell Owens, your again, Chad Ochocinco's, you name it. When you take out a good quarterback, it's very rare that they look like they did. And usually it's a steep drop off actually.
Yep. No,
You
you're
know,
right.
even
You're right. I mean, look, take AJ Brown for example. AJ Brown's had the best years of his career with Jalen Hurts. And I'm not saying
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts is on the same level as
Sure,
everybody you mentioned. I'm just saying
but
he
he's
didn't
better than
have that
Tannehill.
exactly, right? So not
Mhm.
according to the top 100 uh, quarterbacks that they threw on the list. I guess
They
I was
put
reading some
Tannehill
list.
ahead of frickin'
No,
Hurts.
they didn't put Tannehill ahead of Hurts, but they put Tannehill ahead of Nick Foles. Nick Foles wasn't even
Yeah.
on that list, but Tannehill was. I would have put Nick Foles on that list before Tannehill.
It's tough though. Nick Foles had a good year, and it was a really good year, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have much else than that. Where Tannehill at least had some decent years in Miami and some pretty good years for Tennessee. But yeah, I mean, even think about shoot, who was the other receiver that I was just
Well,
Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
You know, even him. I mean, he goes from having Eli to having Cleveland, and he's gone in a matter of years. Not even a conversation piece.
Yep.
well,
It's true.
since you mentioned it, Nick, let's talk about another one. I saw Sirianni at the combine asked about AJ Brown, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave the perfect. He gave an honest answer. It sounded like a very honest answer. He was like, "I don't know if he's going to be on the team or not." You know, I think if it was his choice, he'd be a no. But they did one of them contract dealies where now it looks like it'd be impossible no matter what happens to him. But doesn't sound like they really want him on there. But they did say a stat that I guess, I mean, it seems right. I think he's an elite talent for sure. I think we saw that budding in Tennessee. But they said that for the first 4 years, like he's the best stats of any Eagles wide receiver ever in their first 5 years or 4 years
Mm-hmm.
or 5 years, whatever. I think
4
it was
years.
4 years
Yep.
because
4
he had
years with the team.
5,000
Yep.
yards. So I
Yep.
mean, you can't, nobody can disregard the talent, but I don't know if you can put a price on the what he could do, how he could hurt a locker room. Like you look at,
True.
we look at the Patriots. Even with Stephon Diggs having questionable everything personally, um, continuity in that locker room. You know, nobody had any questions about that locker room, but in Philadelphia, it was week after week, every week. There wasn't a week off from the media talking about what may be going on, all of Paul's rumors about what's going on with the Eagles. Every
Mm-hmm.
single week that was happening, but it wasn't in New England. And look where New England ended up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look, if AJ Brown looked at Jalen Hurts if he blinked while they took a picture, they'd be like, "Oh, he was rolling his eyes. What does that mean?" It's just that's the Philadelphia media, and it creates a circus in its own right, and it's absolutely they blow everything out of proportion. Just like the Sirianni comment. You're right. Sirianni was 100% honest. He goes, "I have a good relationship with AJ. AJ wants to be here. I want him to be here, but we don't know what's going to happen in the season." Because Nick doesn't make that call. That's up to Howie. And two
Yeah.
things, right? How his contract is currently designed is impossible to trade him or cut him. But it's never going to happen in that capacity. If they find a suitor and they need to get rid of him, it'll be a sign and trade. They'll renegotiate his deal, sign him so it's not as big of a salary cap hit and dead cap hit for the Eagles, and somebody will take it on and it'll be fine if they need to trade him. I don't foresee them trading him. I honestly think the new offensive scheme, the new offensive coordinator has kind of breathed new light into the team. and into that offense. And I think you're going to see something different this year. It's, it may not be a good different either for all the Eagles fans out there. It may be some learning curves and some hiccups, but it'll be it won't be hitch routes 425,000 times every game either.
Well, I'll say this. I'll move to Ben. I'll get you, Ben. I will say, I hope you look exactly like you did this year, next year. I would love for that to happen. So,
Yeah,
Ben,
of course you would.
coming off of almost an amazingly successful season. Well, it still was amazingly successful. Got the combine coming up, and then the draft in about 45 days. Where do you go from here?
It's tough. I was going to say before I get into it, Kyle, I know you saw when A.J. Brown went on Gronk and Edelman's podcast, they're kind of laying that groundwork for him to come to New England. I love it. I love it. Yeah, the two big names right now.
I'm not sure if Drake May's going to love having Stephon Diggs and freaking A.J. Brown there, but...
Yeah, I think it's one or the other. I think if they get A.J. Brown, I think it's Stephon Diggs. I mean, he came in Diggs in particular. We had that pink powder incident in the beginning of the offseason last year. And then from there, he was mostly squeaky clean, like despite his relationship with Cardi B, until at least the Super Bowl. At least he might not be doing too hot right now. But yeah, I don't know if the receiver room can handle both of them. So I think that they would move on from Diggs. And I would love to. The two big names right now are A.J. Brown and Max Crosby. Those are the names. And we've been talking about them on this podcast for months now. I would love that. But as far as the combine goes, just go back to that offensive line. You really need to build that offensive line. It sounds like they're going to give Will Campbell another year. Yep. I'm a little on the fence. I mean, he was okay. I'm not saying he was like a rookie of the year before he got hurt, but he was serviceable. He was doing his job. Then he got hurt. He was on IR for about a month, and then he came back, obviously not quite the same player. So it'll be interesting to see, like, an offseason after his rookie year, how he can improve or at least build up some size and muscle to be able to withstand a full NFL season. But for me, I mean, there's not – I would say the Patriots don't need much, but they need talent. Like, they're pretty good all the way around, but they need guys like A.J. Brown, like Max Crosby. When you get into a Super Bowl, you can rely on somebody to go make a play. Like, I barely remember like 5 plays from the Super Bowl.
Come on, the Eagles try to rely on A.J. Brown to make some plays that he did not this year.
But also, Mike Vrabel was the one that drafted A.J. Brown and knows how to make him look good. And, I mean, I think it was more so the front office that kind of steered A.J. out of Tennessee and then Vrabel shortly after that. So as far as if AJ is going to go anywhere, the Patriots are the perfect spot. And he's already said he grew up a Patriots fan. So I feel like for him, like personally, that would be like a dream come true. And that would give him a reason to not be quite as much of a diva. I'm sure he would still bring some diva to the Patriots, but I think he would be more inclined to sacrifice for the team.
Unless they come offering at worst a second round pick, Howie's not even answering that phone call.
Yeah, no, I think I think that's reasonable though, because last year the talk was a first rounder, and like he had come off a pretty good season, but then obviously the way that this year played out. But the Patriots second rounder isn't going to be an early second rounder; it's almost going to be an early third. So I think a second rounder, maybe like a fifth, or I don't know. I think
it'll be 2 draft picks for sure.
Yeah. I think we talked about it. What if they flip Diggs to Philly, one diva for another? Nah. I don't know how Philly would feel about
I'd rather give you a 5th round pick than to take Diggs. I don't want that headache. That's even more of a headache.
I still think the receivers are a dime a dozen. And again, Dallas is making a stupid mistake, but I just don't see people. I mean, Buffalo basically gave up every single receiver they had this year because they're a dime a dozen. Receivers, you got a good quarterback, he's going to make a receiver look good. I don't know.
Yeah, so
I don't see it.
Yeah, the franchise tag, what is it? What is your salary? It's the top 5 at your position or the top 10, an average of that?
Top 5 average.
Yeah,
top 5. Yeah. Yeah, George Pickens is definitely not a top 5 receiver, but between Brandon Aubrey and George,
28 is what he would make.
Yeah, that's a little too much for him. But between Pickens and Aubrey, you pay Aubrey. the Patriots would have had 10 Super Bowls instead of 6 if they paid Adam Vinatieri back in the day. You need a good kicker, and Aubrey is the best in the league right now. Not especially for Dallas. Like if you were saying like Aubrey going to Chicago, for instance, kicking outside and in the cold and in the snow, that's drastically different than kicking in the dome at least half the year, along with like warm weather states that Dallas mostly plays in. So I think for Dallas, Aubrey is the clear choice over Pickens as far as who you keep.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree. I just don't like the idea of so much of your money held up and I don't like the idea that we have so many players that are the top paid player in their position. I feel like that's a recipe for disaster, but
it is.
Not
It is.
unless you win.
I think
And I'm
what's
here for it.
crazy is
It's a disaster because you guys suck.
what's crazy is for the NBA, if you don't have 2 players on a supermax contract, if you don't have 2 max players minimum, you don't even think about the playoffs. So you have to have 2 guys that are making more money than they really probably deserve to even think about getting to the playoffs, which I think is crazy. So it's kind of like the opposite. That same kind of scenario bites you in the ass if you're in the NFL, but it's a requirement if you want to make it big in the NBA.
I think every sport should have an absolute salary cap that levels the field to give your teams like frickin' Cleveland and Washington chances to catch up to everybody else. I don't like how the NFL mandates that they pay 99% of their salary cap a year. I think that's dumb, but I do think that they should absolutely, in the NBA, not be allowed to pay the luxury tax or whatever they do and go out and buy players. I don't know. My take.
Well, if that's your take, let me tell you what's happening in baseball. Good Lord.
I'm with you. Before we get to baseball, can we talk a little bit about some hockey?
We can.
Yeah.
We gotta land this plane pretty soon, but we can definitely
You like
do
silver
hockey.
medals? Yeah, if you want to talk about silver medals, go ahead.
I'm a little surprised that you brought that up as
Listen.
you
I was in a
literally came home
win-win.
with
I was in a
the
win-win.
participation trophy.
I was in a win-win. I didn't really have too much of a horse, but I am representing the fatherland. But no, I mean, I wanted to the father. I wanted to say, I mean, it was an awesome game. I mean, I didn't watch first period, but the second, third period, really good. I have a ton of Canadian friends on Facebook that were, talking about it. It's true. Canada did outplay the United States in that game. However, as we know in football, you don't write a description or you don't write the ending. You don't write the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. You play the games, right? The games fall as they land. What I saw really cool was a Canadian that said, there's nothing to be ashamed of. We played a better game. In the end of it, if you really believe that, be excited about next time we meet, because in the end of it, I mean, you guys watched, there was 3 or 4 should have been goal opportunities in that game that didn't happen. And, in the end of it, I do believe Canada played the better game. I believe they were the better team. They just lost because I do believe I'm an American. I love this country, but I do believe we got very lucky in that game. All that being said is, I think we can all say we're all winners here because of one thing. Russia was not in the last cup. And I think right now that makes everybody happy. So I'm happy. I get to rip on my Canadian friends. You guys can be happy because you get to rip on me. But I think I think we're all winners in the end.
Okay. I have 3. Go for it.
I think Russia should be in. Hot take. They would be so competitive with the U.S. and Canada. Like, they have so many good, talented players in the NHL. It's a shame that they're not allowed to compete.
Listen,
stop going to war with people over dumb stuff. And
that's what I was going to say. I am more than wanting them to go in the minute they pull out of Ukraine. But that's my weird take on it.
Yeah. We talk about sports, not politics here.
I got 3 things real quick, and then we can land this plane and start going to we'll get through the sponsors that Kyle forgot, We will go through lame or gain, and then we will land this plane. By the way, Steve, I did see you write down that type out when Randy did say, when I said that the episode title is going to be He Wears a Star. So I expect that to be the title. So I got 3 things for you, Randy. First, you're not American. So you said you were. That's a lie.
I am.
Second, you really even didn't deserve, you didn't play your way. You got lucky to get into that final game. You should have lost. You didn't deserve. You came and you literally pulled it out your wazoo that you should have even gotten there in the first place.
I love how this is getting Randy. You should have. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
And that's all I got.
That was 2. You said 3.
I forgot what the third one was, and
I
don't. It was something based on what you said.
No, Paul. I remember. It was Cowboys suck. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
When in doubt, Dallas suck.
32 years and counting.
Yeah, via the transit property. Randy sucks, and the Cowboys suck. Therefore,
where are you getting
Canada
32
sucks.
years from?
When was the last time they won?
1995. 95.
Oh, it's 31. I'm sorry. Well, not every single year I've been on this earth.
Let's not just give bad facts out, okay?
Oh, man. My bad. What a terrible fact. 1 year off. Oh, man. It'll be 32 this year. How about that?
It might not be.
Oh, it definitely will be. Your best player is your kicker. Yeah, it definitely will be.
Well, the one with the star on his helmet.
Yeah, he's the star because he wears one.
I've been pleasantly surprised with this whole conversation that we went over the century mark here in our talk. So I was pretty happy about that. Give the producer enough content. We can even throw a couple F-bombs so he gets to edit a few things if we really wanted to at the end, because we can all give an F Canada at the end if we all want to.
Oh, we definitely will. Yeah, we definitely will.
Let's go through our sponsors, and then we'll go through the lame or gain for this week. Randy, I don't know if you know what the lame or gain is, but we'll fill you in on it here in a minute. But let's go through the sponsors. First, we got Sparrow Hair Studio in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'm thinking of growing my hair out, not really on purpose, but just trying to let it go until I come up in a couple of weeks to maybe have a reason to stop by there.
Make sure you see Lean.
Yes, see Lean at Sparrow Hair Studio in Lancaster, or Lancaster. Got to say it right. Also, if you want to rep your team, I'm pretty sure he doesn't do foreign stuff.
No, just USA ones.
Yes, just USA.
I bet you that's a good point. I need to ask him.
You can rep a hype chain from Lotwin, Lotwin.
Giant gold medal.
Off with the code TCCPOD. Our producer didn't even say that on the previous episode, so we want to make sure that everybody watches this one to make sure they have the right information. And then, Kyle, you didn't get a whole lot of review from the last sponsor and the previous NBA one, so maybe you should tout yourself in this one a little bit and your family.
I will. So you can tune in to This Day in Philly Sports History with none other than the less handsome Montgomery brother, but also a USA winner, gold medalist fan, Jim Montgomery. Every day he posts nonstop trivia, nonstop history of the good, the bad, the ugly of what happened on this day in Philadelphia sports history. So subscribe and like below. And Randy, make sure you listen because he goes back way past any of your previous Super Bowls and tells you about Eagles history and Philadelphia history where we didn't have anything. So, you can kind of share in our grief and share in our misery.
And drink some of them tears, some of them old tears.
Drink some of those tears.
Some of us need to learn how to grieve better.
You had Rocky before the Eagles.
Those Molson Canadian, those Molson Canadian tear beers were pretty good over the weekend. I'll tell you that much.
The streets of Toronto are plagued with it right now.
Did he get trivial with it? Did he, being myself? Did he? It's just trivial.
I'm still waiting for where the dig is.
Well, I didn't say it was supposed to be a dig. It rhymes. So in our latest edition of Lame or Gain, so I'm using my fantasy football winnings from this year to purchase items, some sports related, and this one sort of a tangent, but and we'll kind of do like how we do. People have their own little games and things like Matt Lives, and we got Clash and Bash and all that. So I got Lame or Gain. So the today's submission. I don't think anybody I know has this, or I haven't seen it, but so I know that the first week I had some Adidas sandals that were the Simpsons Homer Simpson meme, and I actually kind of called out Randy. I think it was in that episode where he backs out every year into the bushes and comes out a Chiefs fan so that he can root for somebody in the playoffs. But so that seemed to get pretty rave reviews, and everyone seemed to like The Simpsons. So I went ahead and picked up this little piece here. It's a little Cheech and Chong autographed picture with Homer Simpson. I was
That's pretty
expecting
sweet.
more of our fellow people who partake in the Devil's Lettuce that may appreciate this a little bit more, but I thought it was pretty cool.
I think that's a gain. That's 100% a gain. Yeah,
All
that's a
right.
gain.
Paul, I think you've been 100% gain so far. Where's
Oh,
this like lame?
I can. Well, yeah, I can get some laymen. I got a couple of things here that are waiting that weren't necessarily going to make it, but were purchased. That they're more biased gain to me, lame potentially to people who may be rivals in the division.
Yeah, it's
Of
definitely lame. I'm calling it now.
yeah,
It's lame.
Most likely.
Yeah, most likely.
maybe we'll bring something. I'll bring something in. I got a couple of things here.
Yeah, but listen, it's for the greater good. It was a gain because Randy and I just both agreed, and we don't usually agree on anything. So we
That's
just both
very
agreed
true.
that it's lame. So there
There
you
you
go.
go.
That's a win in my book. That's a perfect way to land this thing.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for us. I appreciate Randy stopping on. Ben, hope you crack those windows. We don't need any of that exhaust clogging up your lungs in there. So go ahead and get out of that door and get yourself a Pop-Tart and
I'm
end your
out.
evening
I just
there.
ate my last one the other day.
Are you a Pop-Tart guy, by the way? I've been hearing about this. Are you one?
Oh boy.
Ben is.
We
Ben
don't have
is.
another hour.
All right. Let's go. Lame. Let's go.
All right.
Love
Well,
Pop-Tarts.
I will talk to everybody later and hope to see you all next week.
All right, boys.
See you later.
Peace out.
USA.